Well, things moved incredibly quickly at the Conservative Party conference, and Kemi Badenoch's maternity comments have, well, they seem to have absolutely caused her complete and utter self-implosion. Now, so far, there doesn't appear to be much movement. Now, bear in mind, it is speeches day today. So every candidate is going to get to do their grand, big speech. And of course, think back, and it's been mentioned multiple times in other stuff we've gone over. In 2005, no one thought it would be David Cameron until he did his speech, and he just mopped the floor with the rest of the candidates, and he went on to win. Could that now happen today? Is maybe Tom Tugendhat going to pull it out of the bag? I don't know. We'll find out probably quite soon. Kemi Badenoch probably going to have to pull it out of the bag herself, because the key thing here, remember, is that even though, according to all the polls, Conservative Home as well, Kemi Badenoch still like their number one choice, the membership does not get a vote until the final two. Remember, we've still got 4 candidates at the moment. We've got 4 candidates still. And going into this conference, there was talk of squeezing Kemi out. You know, pushing her out of the contest. Now, so far, those stories seem to have quietened down, but what has, I think, vastly accelerated now, because you've seen now senior Conservatives emerge from the woodwork and say, there's a bit of a smell of tea around Kemi, and we're not sure whether it's Thatcher or Truss, but it smells more like Truss. And they are worried. A lot of now Conservative MPs are now very, very worried they're going to elect Badenoch, or she's going to get to the final 2, and then the Conservative Party membership is going to elect her as leader. And remember, a big part of what a lot of these Conservative MPs want, honestly, in opposition, even though they would never come out and really admit it, is they want a bit of a quiet life. They've had years after years after years of constant mess, and they know they need at least a couple of years of where they can, be calm, be quiet, get on with things in the background and sort out at least the party, while it not, exploding on to, the front pages. But meanwhile, you've got Badenoch coming out, making these comments about maternity pay, that, women just have too much maternity pay, that we're just redistributing, this stuff to the wrong people. Meanwhile, think about this. If you were, let's say, for example, the leadership contest had already happened, and this was Kemi Badenoch. She was the leader of the Conservative Party. There would have to be Conservative MPs doing the media round, basically being told, you have to defend those comments. Remember what we saw during the Boris Johnson days, of where they had to defend all of the Johnson nonsense. And it just got to a point where they just couldn't take it anymore. And a lot of MPs from those parties now seem to be saying, do we really want to put Badenoch in? Bear in mind, of course, this now potentially opens the way to Robert Jerrick, potentially. But it all depends still if she gets to the final four. Will MPs abandon her? Will she make it through to the final two? That is still the $15 million question. And I think it depends on how these speeches are perceived to go today. Who comes out of the winner? What narrative is set by these speeches? What do people go away from the conference saying? Because if it's like 2005 and people are walking away from the conference and saying, yep, Cameron's the man, even though no one ever thought Cameron would win it at that point, until, of course, the speech, are we going to be in a very similar position? But bear in mind, you know, that if they elect Jerrick, well, Jerrick's got his own problems. The Labour Party has already asked the Electoral Commission to look into his donation that he received, the £75,000 donation that he received from a company that is bankrupt. Yeah, looks like the Tory party's really learned from the mistakes, guys, right? Bear in mind, all that scandal happened while the right-wing press was whipping up the whole Partygate thing, which, bear in mind, has now resulted in a lot of misinformation put out by the right-wing press, claiming that there is now a super injunction where no such super injunction exists. You know, super injunctions are a part of public record. You could actually look them up, say, oh, actually, there is a super injunction. There is no super injunction. But all that furore, all that whipping up of the whole, you know, the Giftgate scandal was done to cover, you know, the Jerrick scandal that was going on. Because imagine if Giftgate hadn't imploded, the story would be to the British public, which it still should be, the Tory party has not changed. And it really hasn't. This whole conference shows it absolutely hasn't. And the fact that you've now got Kemi Badenoch, who is worrying so many MPs, the front runner, still in many, many cases, it all depends if she makes it to the final two, which is now potentially in doubt. Very, very much in doubt. You know, you've seen other headlines, you know, Kemi Badenoch hitting out at everyone. And the worry is now that Kemi Badenoch could walk into an empty room and just start an argument. Because I think a lot of MPs are now worried, do we want her as leader? Do we want to be, you know, having to defend her comments on this? You know, what stuff is she going to say next? And it goes to wider problems within the Conservative Party that still they have not answered, they have not tackled, they have not looked at. And until they actually do that, ain't any chance, honestly, of any sort of sense, normality returning to the Conservative Party at all. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on what goes on here, but yeah, it's it's going to be fun, shall we say, potentially. But this has potentially opened the door for Robert Jerrick. Potentially, we'll see what happens. Like I say, the MPs are still the ones getting to make the choice, but they may decided maybe this weekend, yeah, we don't want Kemi Badenoch because she's too much of a liability. Which, bear in mind, is nothing new. We've talked about this all the way going back when she first threw her hat into the ring. Even before that, that she was one of these mavericks. Bear in mind, how then does she act in opposition with a leader that, you know, she doesn't potentially like, that she would, shall we say, want to get rid of? So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. if you do get a chance to see the speeches today, because I know this will probably go out after the speeches, let me know what you think of the speeches if you got a chance to saw them, if you've read or seen anything about them. I will be watching out them today. We'll probably be doing something about them tomorrow as well. But of course, as always, it is Wednesday, so there will be a Pony Club video out today as well. So do go check that out as well. And of course, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, we'll see you all next time.